I'm out of Detroit with Forge Le Femme. We just had a shooting in my neighborhood, so I had to cancel my last live. Things went a little crazy. It was unexpected. Apparently, there's some like drama going on between exes. Girl lit up her. I think it was a girl lit up her ex's car. All I heard was someone did a full magazine dump. Sounded like a small little carry pistol. Sounded like 7 rounds. Someone's catching a felony tonight. That's all I can say. And yep. So that's what's going on. That's where we're at. I'm back in the workspace. The shooting was just, not far away, but that's what's up here I'm at. Where y'all coming out of tonight? I guess in a way it's kind of like an emergency live because I had to, well, I didn't have to, but like I had to go to the bathroom real bad. And then after I went to the bathroom, I saw there was cops all over my fucking neighborhood. And then apparently the shooting I thought I heard was actually confirmed, so there was a shooting in my neighborhood. I guess what are you gonna do? So hey, it happened. Wasn't expected, I'll say that. But I don't know if someone's getting a felony tonight. No, that's dude. Like, I actually have it on my my previous live. I was just like straight up sitting here like handstanding, the battle spoon I've been working on, and then I just heard like pop, 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 pop. It was actually 7 shots is what I counted, but yeah, apparently it was like Psycho X drama, and yay, someone got mad at somebody, and there's cops all over the place right now in my neighborhood. My little dog's out there barking at whatever's going on. But I just talked to my neighbor for about the past hour and a half about it. Because she was vacuuming when it happened. And her son just goes, "Mom, that was gunshots." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" He just goes, "Mom, I just heard gunshots." And she was like, "Wait, what?" And then she started hearing the cops coming in. Oh yeah, I'm having a smoke. I'm having a, it's actually pretty good. I previously wrote this brand off. This one might have brought it back into the running. This is a Punch 2024. I think that's what it's called. It's not a bad stick actually. It's about $9, $10, $11. I actually got it on clearance, but it's actually a pretty legit stick. I think I paid $6 for mine. But and then Yazlan Alvarez Pedersen says hi, how's it going? But yeah, currently at the moment I am winding down from a shooting in my neighborhood. And the funniest thing about where I live in like quiet Michigan. Like we don't have stuff like this happen out here. Like we're right in the Detroit area, but no, we don't have this. This guy lemon parties. What's a lemon party? I'd love to know. What is a funny story that has happened to you? I don't know, there's just a shooting that just happened in my neighborhood. That's kind of funny. At least to me it is. The good old US of A. Dangerous liberty. Alright, let's move it down. Alright, let me move my water bottle. I gotta readjust. Okay. There we go. And let's get back to sanding. I'm actually hitting the high ends of my battle spoon right now with the 60 grit. This stuff is taking the high ends down real nice. Where are you guys all coming out of, by the way? I normally wouldn't come back, but I had to leave my live for a while. The police are like all through my area right now. So we were standing like outside of the police tape, I guess you could say. And by all, I mean 3 of us. I'm actually on like the final leg, we'll say, of like sanding and all that shit. Luckily, nobody was actually shot tonight, and it was just a threat, scare tactic, whatever you want to call it. Hey man, eat right, train hard, die anyway, right? And to top it off, I got some Old Forester bourbon. The people that live just constantly protected, man, y'all don't know what's up. Is that thing necessary? Is what thing necessary? What is your name? Speaker dude. Is what thing necessary? Exactly, to wash it all down, you just gotta wash down, you know, like the demons. I might actually use that for my line from now on. People get really upset on YouTube. It is hilarious how offended they get by things. And I mean, like, really bent out of shape. I'm sure it's all just an act, but it's pretty funny. What's going on in TikTok land? Did I miss something? Nothing. All right, back to hand sanding. I really want to get this stained by tomorrow night. That's my goal. Actually, let's get kind of this. It's actually amazing how much 60 grit can like smooth it out. Alright, so let's see. Martin says, washing down the sawdust. Hey man, hey, you know, as I see it in life, you live how you want to live. If you live in like a hyperbaric chamber like Steve Jobs did, not Steve Jobs, who was it, Howard Hughes, hey, rock on, fly that freak flag. Dum vivamos vivamos, while we live, let us live. Because you don't really care about us that much anyway. You actually would like rather watch us die. That's how I feel about guys that like mock those. I could have you all wrong. Okay, and John Triglyph, if that's, he says hi. Hi. Over there in TikTok land, where are you guys coming out of? You guys are hanging out a little bit. It's not a bad stick. I do not like cigars with the ring gauge this big. I actually don't know what this ring gauge, I think it's actually 60. My preferred ring gauge is like 50 at max. Let's see. So, Alfonso Blunt says Subaru? What would make you think I drive a Subaru? I gotta put gloves on. I'm gonna get splinters playing with this shit. This stuff takes no prisoners. Anyway, where are you guys coming out of tonight? I am out of Detroit, Michigan. My name is Rachel. Currently, police are outside of my house after a shooting that just happened. We had some angry ex drama, and she shot up her ex's car, as I understand it. And the police are out there doing surveillance and picking up bullet casings and the whole nine. And I am in my shed, smoking a cigar, getting emphysema, getting lesbian jokes that they can't even finish, which I wish you could. It's lame when you can't. And then we got someone here says Mussolini is from Agartha. I don't know where is Agartha, Mussolini. No, I don't. I live in a very fucking nice neighborhood, actually. And oh, we got Alfonso Blunt is from Beaver Munch, Virginia. That's a really weird place. I didn't know Virginia had a place. I've been to Virginia. It's a pretty cool place. I've been to West Virginia. Been to the no, I've not been to the Carolinas, but by the tempo of your jokes, I'm gonna guess you're like 22, maybe single. That's usually a joke of like 22 and younger kind of thing. Like it's like it's kind of clever for your age, but it's like we've heard it a lot by the time we get to our age. And Scott says, I went to school with this guy. He's a cool dude. If you're talking about the guy making dyke jokes, he's really not that cool. He actually sounds kind of lame. All right. Oh, where did I go to school? Let's hear all about where I went to school. Because as far as I know, I went to school with three Scots. And one was in one school and two were in another school. So where did we go to school together? Tell me all about it. And if you're the Scott I'm thinking of, I did not like you. Actually, I couldn't stand you. Oh no, like legit, like if it's the Scott I'm thinking of, nah, man, we ain't never gonna be cool. I mean, we could be cool. Some actually, I did make friends with one of my bullies. I met one of my bullies years later, and the weird thing was he didn't actually remember me. Uh, and the worst part about it, he became really cool towards me. He died like a year and a half later in a motorcycle crash. I was really heartbroken to hear it because he was like a solid dude after he grew up, and that really broke my heart. And but no, if it's the Scott I'm thinking of, he ain't as cool as the guy I'm talking about that he and I made like buried the hatchet. But nah, yeah, I'm pretty blunt. No, you've been following for a while. I'm pretty blunt. And Scott says, nice. We got two Scots? How do I have two Scots in the same fucking chat? It's like a battle of, it's like an invasion of the Scots. I mean, I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot, but what the hell? How does that even happen? Okay, let's see. Actually, I do not like sanding in these gloves. I thought I'd like it. No, I don't like it. Noah says, that's one of the reasons I watch you because you're blunt with your words and you're funny as fuck. Hey, I'll take it, dude. I mean, I don't mean to be a jerk, to be completely honest. It's just the way I work. All right, so Alfonso Blunt says, are you circumcised? Well, you gotta have a penis to be circumcised. And, you know, females don't have penises. And I'm just actually curious. It is 11:15. I think it's, what, Tuesday night? And you're asking these, like ninth grade level jokes. And you think you're actually clever. And I say, like when I was in high school, like they were actually very hurtful jokes, like that the guys would say to the girls, and they thought it was like cute, and they thought the girl would like them, and it was a really weird thing. And those guys, a lot of them are still like single, like, and I'm in my 40s by the way, and those guys are like largely single to this day, and they still think they're fucking hilarious, which is pretty much the most like amazing self roast I've heard in a long time. So. Where are you that said that? So, Alfonso, I hope that's not your case when you hit your 40s, but if it is, I'm sorry for your future wife or whatever it might be, or for your daughters or whatever. When you you think these jokes are going to end with me, those are going to go to your kids. So the things you say to other people, your kids are going to go through the same hell. So keep that in mind. They're going to be just like you, taken after you. Okay, so what? Fisherman said, so can you make me mod? No, why would I make you a mod? The hell? No, Tom says, also notice you are Forge Le Femme finalist. Congratulations. Yes, I am. Thank you. If you look, hang on one second. You can tell that funny looking crowbar thing right above my belt grinder. That's actually the knife. Crowbar. Steel bar. That was actually made from a Leaf spring. That was my Forge and Final blade that was untestable, unfortunately. John Doe, hello, sir. Oh, you got me on that one, dude. Oh my god. I love when they go for that. Oh, so John Alfonso, you're 14. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I know you think you're funny. It actually it is kind of cute. Like I do appreciate like the candor and like the audacity. But just remember, the way you talk to me is the way people will talk to your kids, and you laid the footwork for your kids to be treated badly. So keep that in mind when bullies come around and bully your kids. All right, and then John Doe says, "I love carpentry. What you up to, bud?" All right, let me show you. So I'm actually hand sanding, doing like a really rough hand sanding right now to get the high fibers off. But I'm making a battle spoon. This one's made out of pine. Got stuck. I'm stuck in all kinds of stuff. This one is 5 feet 3 inches. It'll be 5 feet 3 inches when it's done. And a little bit. It looks taller than me, but I'm 0.75 inches taller than this. Don't let it lie to you. But anyway, no, I'm making a battle spoon, and that one's made out of pine. This one is made out of white oak. And then Melissa Klaus says, "Could I be a Melissa? I don't even know who you are. Why would I want to waste my time on you being a? Oh, you're a McLeod. You're related to Trump. So suck on that. Donald Trump is a blood McLeod from Scotland. He is a Highlander." And then Claudia Thorne, or what is this? The audacity. I know, right? It's just, I love it. And Noah says, "Don't spam the chat." Oh, like, I love when they spam the chat because they think they can, like, hurt me or, like, get one over on me and, like, dunk on me. And I'm just kind of like, dude, you cannot hurt my feelings. Like, you could try, but oh my god, it is so much fun. And some of the, like, burns are actually kind of clever. And I do have to give them some credit. Alright, so John Doe says, "You're cool as fuck. At least you got a sense of humor. You stand on business." Hey, you know what I mean? Dude, I mean, I'm 42 years old. I look like I'm like a 14-year-old boy. It is what it is. You just gotta kind of own it, you know? And I mean, my voice is kind of funny, you know? It is what it is. You just gotta kind of rock and roll in life. Oh, Melissa, go talk to Donald Trump about being a mod. See what he says. Alright, John Doe says, "Keep the good work." I don't know what that is. That looks Japanese. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Maybe Korean. Claudia Hawthorne says, "Can you make a battle spork?" That is actually something I have had in mind. So battle spoon, actually, holy cow! I have this. I could actually turn this into a battle spork. I might start making this my next lives when I get this one done. Claudia, I hope you tune in more. Honestly, that is genius. That is honestly genius. The battle spork will be so much fun. And Meatball says, "Toting the gar." Actually, I got a gar for it. Hold on. I know you're talking about the cigar, but I made this after the alligator gar fish. After the Irish skein and the alligator gar fish. So, toting the gar, smoking the gar. Okay, and so John Doe says, "I love it, good job, thank you." And then John Doe says, "No mods, guys, here will be a chosen one." And then one name I can't do the helicopter. I don't know what that means, but I got thoughts in my mind of what it means. And then John Doe says, "Brother, a lot of grown-ups act like kids nowadays." Yeah, I mean, so much, you know, it just is what it is. And then Claudia says, "A battle Norca knife fork." You know, that's actually pretty funny. It reminds me of the old, like, hobo knife. They had, like, the knife, fork, spoon combo. Some of those are actually pretty sick, like, made by, like, Case. There's actually only one person in the comments I would allow to be a mod, and that's because they've been around for a while. And they're actually not an asshole at all. They're actually pretty cool. They're actually pretty nice. And they just kind of, like, hang out and say funny stuff and just like they just have a good time. I don't know. They're pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, so back to hand sanding. I wonder if the police are still outside. Last I knew, so the guys that just tuned in, there was a shooting in my neighborhood, and I live in a really nice neighborhood. We don't have shit like that. Nope. someone got mad at their ex and lit up their car, and I heard 7 or 8 I think it was actually 7 gunshots, and I have it on my live stream on my YouTube. So if you guys want to subscribe, I'll be posting the gunshot footage. Hopefully tomorrow, if it's I got sawdust in there. Tomorrow, but yeah, no, it will be posted tomorrow or the next day. But nope, there was a shooting. I don't know what the hell happened. I left my workspace because it was like right outside my workspace, and we don't have shootings where I live. Like I'm in Detroit. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have that where I live, and we have one tonight. That was pretty fucking wild. It was at like 9:11 p.m. actually, and anyway, so back to sanding. Alright, let's move it down a little bit more. And let's get back to hand sanding a little bit. Okay. Alright, so the Battle Spork is like, that has like the most credence. I think that actually sounds like a lot of fun, to be completely honest. So I like, while I've been working on this, there's been like talk of Battle Spoon, the Battle Fork, and Battle Butter Knife. But the Battle Spork, it's like, that's like the first one to really come up with it, is you guys. And you know what? That's freaking cool, dude. I love it. That's the community I want to build right there. Like, it's just like minds that just create together. And I'd love to start building like workshops where we come up with like this like crazy fun idea, and then we just like have like a build day, and we all go and build like a Battle Spork. Like, how fun would that be? And then we all like leave with our own Battle Spork. And if you're lucky enough, it will be a Battle Spork polearm. I mean, like, how cool would that be? Like, walking through the neighborhood on Halloween. To me, that just seems like a lot of fun. I gotta say, it's really quite amazing. It's a great view. Alright, and then we got no top saying it'd be interesting as fuck. Like, honestly, like, that was like my whole idea behind building this channel. Because like the first video I made was like, I think it was like 5 years ago. It might have even been like further, but I think it was 5 years ago. And it was all about sourcing an anvil or something like one. And I didn't really know what I was doing when I made it, but the whole idea behind it was, you don't need to have the dream shop to make things work. And since I've been working on things, and you guys have been coming around more and more, and some of you guys have like, honestly, really very cool ideas. And that's like the community that would be like so much fun. It'd be like the chance to be like, we talked, you know, like in this chat, and we have a chance now to actually like meet each other and interact. And to me, that's like, that's the magic. That's the magic of handmade. And then Lifetime 3123 says, lesbian woodshed class. Today's lesson, I hate sanding poles. I gotta screenshot that. That was fucking good. Let me see if I can remember how to screenshot. Oh, I don't know how to remember it. All right. Oh, I screenshotted that because that was too damn good. That was good. Good joke, dude. Good form. That's better than, do you drive a Subaru? That was classic. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the kind of community I want. We're not thin-skinned. We can have these jokes. Like, I love making fun of stereotypes. Like, I am a stereotype like 8 ways from Sunday. And, you know, like that right there, that's comedy gold. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I want in this community. Like, I want us to be able to like chide each other, have fun, joke, take pokes, have fun. But at the end of the day, no matter where we stand, we made something. We came with nothing, and we leave with something we all made. We talked with each other. To me, that's the magic of life: is getting people to come together, build things, talk about things, share ideas, share thoughts, stuff like that. And I got lacto in there. You love me, all right. I bought a wooden shovel one time. I don't even know what that means, mathquar. Why did you buy a wooden shovel? They do exist. I will say that. For coal, often. And then Lifetime 3123 says, respect. Hey, rock and roll. That was actually really a legit freaking line. I really appreciate that. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Like, I want to see gay women be able to take jokes like that because that was fucking funny, dude. Like, legit. And Mathbar says it was like 8. It was cool, like 18. Do you speak English as your first language? Because that makes no sense linguistically to English speakers. Not in America. Not at least in Detroit. Alright, and Mathbar says, I bought a plane and the guy gave it away like 100 years old. Where are you from in the world? And if you say you are from Ecorse, Michigan, I'll believe it. Because in Ecorse, they are Hungarians. I look like Renee Good? I really don't, though. You're from Quebec? Hey, the French. Alright, and then Lifetime says, what's the hardest joke you ever heard? I'll be completely honest. What you said, that was one of the best I've heard for like gay joke wise. That was legit. Alright, and then Sanoa says, definitely not English. That's their first language. And I agree. And then Mark says, yeah, sadly. Hey, the Quebecians, man, you guys are like Americans. You're like the Texans of Canada. I got respect for you guys. Take your country back. And then Chantel, she says, bunch of Canadians, eh? Yeah. Oh, hang on a second. Hold on. Oh, it's you. Oh, I thought the neighbors were losing their minds again. Well, I thought the neighbors were fighting again. It's another drive-by of the neighborhood. Okay, it's just my girlfriend calling the dog. I seriously thought the neighbors were shooting at each other again. No, it's just my little Shiba Inu being a Shiba Inu. Oh, I love that little dog. Little princess. Okay, let's get caught up on these comments real quick. I'll get back to sanding. All right, so let's see. All right, sorry guys, I'm still trying to like define. Yeah, we already talked about the Canucks. Looks like we have some more hanging out. And my square says, I was just trying to type fast. Ain't no worries at all. Like, I'm gonna chide you a little bit. Hey, it's just like a little bit of friendly rivalry. Potthorn says, battle spatula, battle. We'll just get the whole kitchen. I love this. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, like battle utensils. Like, honestly, like, oh my god, a battle spatula. Oh my god, like, that would be fun. All right, and then Jonifer says, what are we sanding? It is actually a battle spoon. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is actually what I'm making it off of. This is a little over 5 feet tall. And this one right here that I'm working on, this is made out of white oak. But this is a battle spoon as well. And it is for Rennie that wants to have like a battle spoon staff as she goes through, like, the Ren Fair. I'm so jazzed. I'm super excited that she approached me with something so cool. And then Chantel says, that's nuts, Detroit. I'm actually not in Detroit. I am south of Detroit. And yeah, it's actually, I'll be posting the live video probably in like 2 days because it takes like almost a full day for the like live feed to render. But no, there was a damn shooting. An ex got mad. I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but like I don't know if it was like a drive-by or just like shooting up their car. But no, yeah, shit got live for a minute. It was kind of wild. And yeah, there's police all over the neighborhood and good times, let me tell you. And no, Top said those are dope ideas for sure. Yeah, no, Noah, for real. Like they're actually like this is what makes community so great. Is like this is like the hive mind coming together and like just thinking of like cool ideas. This is what makes me want to start doing like teaching classes, is stuff like that. Is you get to actually meet the people that have these like really genius ideas. Because you know one person can only think of so much, but when you have people that come together of like a hive mind, the you know possibilities are truly endless. Oh, let's get the heat back on. It's kind of cold in here. All right, so all right, I'm trying to catch up on comments. I think Clayton Pitcher says, please, Americans need to save those people by taking their country back. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, but hey, rock and roll, brother. American proud. And Meth Burr says, we had a lot of woodworkers here back then. Lots of farmers, handy guys, mechanics too. Hey, the Quebecians. Hey, we have a whole lot of you guys, a whole colony of you guys in South United States called the Cajuns or Kunes. And I think they call them Acadian or Acadian, I think is what you call them up in Quebec. But we got you guys down in Louisiana. They're called the Cajuns. They got some good food. Okay, and then let's see. I'm trying so hard to keep. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still learning how to like keep up with them, and it's like the screen's only so big. All right, so and then Muthclear says we already talked about that. And then Chantel says probably cheap rent. Where I live, no, it's actually not terribly cheap to be completely honest. And we're not renters. We're actually almost all homeowners where I live. And very few are renters actually. So it's particularly really rare that happened because these neighbors, a lot of them have been here for 20, 30 years. So this is really kind of wild from where I'm at. And Clayton says, first woodworker that smokes a cigar. Oh, God, no. Woodworkers, we love cigars, man. That's like our thing. And then my squire says, I'm probably a rare one using hand tools at 38. No, you are not. This actually was almost entirely formed by hand. This one was completely formed by hand, minus a very small portion of the bowl. No, I actually do a lot of woodworking by hand. I'll show you real quick. So, this is you probably know it as a wood plane or a hand plane. I shaped both of these with this tool. It is a Stanley Handyman. And I did it with that, and hang on, I'll show you the two other tools that were the primary partners in crime. Here is one right here. It's a Japanese Shinto rasp. If you've never heard of it, get one. They're really affordable. Amazon has them. They're made in Japan. Really good tool, to be completely honest. And oh, there's the other one right here. This one was also made in Japan. I didn't know it when I bought it though. It's a Japanese half-round wood rasp, and this is a fantastic tool. I use it constantly on these builds, and yeah, so that's one of those. And of course, says I am probably. Oh, I already covered that. Oh no! I think I've got a little bit far behind. Okay, and then Lil John Gotti says that blunt. I don't smoke. I don't actually smoke blunts. It's actually a cigar. It's a Punch 2024 is the brand. I didn't look at that thing. It's falling apart. But anyway, no, I don't smoke marijuana. And then Noah Thompson, thank you for coming in. Right on, right there, brother. That's fire. My car says disabled, and then Claudia Popcorn says, "Is that dangerous lighting that cigar with all the wood shavings?" No. I mean, the only way it's dangerous is if you like take the fire and put it to the wood shavings. I don't know what your experience is with fire, but wood does not actually spontaneously combust. It's just like wood takes roughly 400 plus degrees to catch on fire, and it is nowhere near that point when you put a match out. So no, it is definitely not dangerous. All right, and then Chantel says, you got any guns or just massive collection of sharp objects? Hang on one second, I'll show you. Yeah, I got one right on me right now. Caltech P32. I got a lot of guns. That's the one I carry on me at all times. That's my everyday carry, my EDC, if you will. It is a fantastic little gun. I love it. Okay, and then Noah Thompson says, I don't know what that TA symbol means. And then Lifetime says, I see you played Knifey Spoony before. I don't know what that means, but I might have. Little John Gotti says, that's cool. I don't know what that means. And then Chantel says, oh, that's so awesome. You are owners and that it's quiet. Such a strange situation. Glad you guys are safe. It really was. Where I live, for that to happen was completely bizarre. Like, bizarro world. Like, it is so quiet where I live that when I told my new neighbors when they moved in that it's a quiet neighborhood, like 3 months later, she was like, when you told me it was quiet, like I just thought like kind of quiet, and she goes, oh my god, it is so quiet. It is so quiet. It drives you nuts. It's so quiet. I play crazy loud, like Irish struggle music just to like keep my neighbors honest. I'll play Malcolm X, random hours. They deserve it though. Trust me. Okay, and then Chantel is a surprise face, and I hope I'm saying your name. Mathquare says they all got assimilated over time. Some don't even know their last name is French. I'll say this: the Cajuns down in Louisiana, they do have a very strong tie to Quebec. They say, I don't know, I can't speak on them, but I can say this: I like boudin sausage. That's really good. And then Chantel says, "Look, salad. Yeah, thank you." And Kimio Secret says, "Oh, cool. Yeah, it definitely is cool." And then Sammy says, "Hello from Turkey. Hey, hey, what's up, guys? Turkey, yeah. Turkey, I think it is." And then KJ Keeley said, "I just smoked at Oliva. I just had a really good Oliva V, and it was a Lancero. And before that, I wrote Oliva off, or Oliva, however you say it. But that Lancero put Oliva back in the running for me, and I really like Lanceros, but that one actually impressed me. The Oliva V Lancero, good stick." And then Chantel says, "I'm pissing myself laughing at your explanation of how fire is made. That's amazing. I love it." And then Clad Frog 88 says, "Damn, huge blunt. No, it's a cigar. Why you guys always think everything's marijuana? Like, tobacco is way more widespread. It's the oldest crop we have amongst humans. It's marijuana. No, dude, like, it's tobacco." Alright, and of course it's places, not, well, okay. And then Kimmy Secret says, "Is that a Texas thing?" Is what a Texas thing? Having guns, if that's what you mean? I'm in Detroit, and we love our guns here too. Let's see, the Chantel says, "Wow, so cool, that must feel..." It is a very nice thing having safety like that. It's just, it's the American tradition. It's just, we got gun culture. I'm all about it. I want everybody armed to the teeth. Period. And then Claudia says, "What kind of gun is that?" It is a Keltec P32. And there is one that is very similar. That is the Ruger 380, if I recall. Keltec had one as well called the Keltec P3AT. This cigar is falling apart in my hands right now. This is kind of hilarious. But anyway, no, it's a 32 ACP is what it shoots, and it's rad because it's just tiny. Like, I don't need to carry like a full size 9mm on me. It's just not my bag. Like, to those that do, God bless you. It's not my style. All right, so, and then we got Kimmy Secret says, "You got a gun because you're in Texas?" No, I'm in Detroit and I have a gun, and I'm not even in Detroit. I'm outside of Detroit. I'm in Michigan and I have a gun because I'm an American. And Bigwit says, "Hi from Australia. What's up? Hey, welcome aboard, Australians from the land down under." No, in America, we just have guns because we just have guns. That's just how we roll. And then, what is your name? Relief from real life? You look chill. I mean, I am pretty chill, to be completely honest. I'm not usually like a wild person. Not usually. Everybody has their wild times. My course says, "Do you make artistic carving?" Kind of. I'll show you something I did. It's not really, we'll say, in the artistic form of like carving out like bird heads and stuff, but this is a Slavic symbol. This is a Slavic symbol, and this is the Irish Beltane. This is the Slavic god of Stribog. Well, the Slavic god Stribog, which is the god of wind, air, storms, and wealth and prosperity. And there are some Slavic people that will actually keep their doors open on New Year's Eve to let the wind blow through their home on New Year's, and close the world up. And then on TikTok we have what brand? So Wheelie Wankanga. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. By what brand? What do you mean? And Slavic Simple, I don't know what that means. But you guys, if you could like ask your questions on TikTok again, I'll be trying to answer them. So Noah says, I'm going to sleep. Have a good night. Hope the rest of your night is quiet and no more drama. I appreciate that, Noah. You have a fantastic night. Hope to see you around again in the near future. But until then, have a good time. And then Kimmy Secret says, "Oh, I thought it was Texas." No, I'm in Detroit, Michigan. Like that. This is Detroit, Michigan. It's where I'm from. Carhartt is from Detroit. I wear this just to represent, like my hometown. And then Kimmy Secret says, "Okay, I feel satisfied and got psychological closure since you answered my questions." Fantastic. And Mathpor says, "I'm building a Moravian workbench. My neck and back are dead for a week after sawing dovetails 2 days ago." Oh my gosh, Mathpor, I totally feel your pain. I did this whole thing by sawing relief cuts all the way down. Yup, that's a beatdown. Ain't no doubt about that. Invite Arian to co-host. Absolutely not. Go away. Okay, and let's see. And then Claudia Pathoran says, "What is your opinion on people wanting to ban guns?" People that want to ban guns are people that want people like me, a gay woman, to be made an easier victim. So if you want to ban guns, you want people like me to be made an easier victim. Why do you want to make me a victim? The people that want to ban guns tell gay people we're hunted. So what do gay people in America do? We get guns to defend ourselves. And then those that tell the gay people that they're hunted, they then say that we're the bad people because we want to arm up and defend ourselves. No, I'm a 2A absolutist, period, end of story. I do not believe in any form of gun control. Once you have served your debt to society, I want your rights restored 100%. And I don't care how egregious that crime is, because if the crime is so bad that they think you don't deserve a gun, then you need to be in prison longer. Full stop. That's it. And I will not bend on that one. Okay, and then Christopher says, "I miss cigars. My sister is allergic to tobacco. That's unfortunate. You can always smoke away from her, though. You don't have to, sit by her all the time." Christopher says, "Sits her asthma." Oh, Jesus Christ, go sit outside, smoke a cigar. It's a good way to get peace of mind. That's what I do. Like with my girlfriend, I go sit on the front porch. I get my typewriter out. I like to collect typewriters, by the way. And I go sit on my front porch. I type whatever is, thoughts of my mind on the day or the list of the day coming. And then I smoke my cigar. It's very nice. Hey, Martin asks if I'm still smoking the tree branch. Pretty much. I think this is like a 60 ring gauge. Oh, this thing is ridiculous, to be completely honest. And then Chantel says, "Because I'm American. Us Canadians up here are smoking the devil's lettuce instead of owning guns." Chantel, you guys feel that way. We feel our way. And what I can say is, in America, we're founded on a completely different principle. It's, dangerous liberty. We know going into it, it's dangerous, and that's fine. And that's what we're about. Gun culture is what I'm about. I love it. I love knowing that my neighbors can be armed to the teeth. I love knowing tonight that when there was gunshots going down, that when I talked to my neighbor, she told me she wants to get her carry permit, which I don't agree with, but point of the matter is we have to have them. And she was telling me she wants to get a gun and she wants to protect herself. That made my heart sing with joy. I love hearing people say that. And I want you to have them too in Canada. I don't care where you are in the world. Everybody has the right to self-defense, full stop. That's it. We have that right. The government is who takes it from us. And then Martin says, "Is that a shillelagh?" So that's a funny thought. Is it a shillelagh? I don't know. So here's a good question. So, my Quebecian counterpart, this is a walking stick as far as I'm concerned. Some would call it a shillelagh. So, you saw my carved stick. Some would say this is a shillelagh, not because it's carved, but because it's, a pretty well-described thumping club. I view this as a walking stick. Some say that's just a weapon. I see it as the only weapon is between our ears. That's it. This was just a tree branch. And even though I, let it season for a couple of years and then I varnished it and sanded it and all that stuff, it does not automatically make it a weapon. To me, it's just a walking stick, but some say a shillelagh is explicitly a weapon. So it's a good question. I cannot get a good response from the Irish on that, which is where the shillelagh come from. So, like I said, it's a good question. It's just one I've not been able to get a good response on yet. And I don't actually think I ever will. I think it's just kind of like a cultural thing. And then this is Battle Walking Stick. There we go. Hey, Battle Walking Stick. And then Chaos Whisperer says, "Food's looking good. Thank you very much. I'm really taken with the way this thing's turning out." And Chantel says, "I'm sorry you have that experience of being hunted. That would be tough to live with. I'm glad you're protecting yourself." Well, the being hunted is an interesting topic in itself, to be completely honest. And then Machquare says, "Subscribed. I will love to see what you're doing in the future. I love the woodworking community. I feel less alone doing it. It is a lot more fun when you have like a world around you and you get to like know people, especially in the craft. That to me makes it especially more fun." All right, what's going on TikTok? Did I miss anything? If I did, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, I did. Someone wants to go live. And I never know who they are that wants to go live. All right, so anyway. Garrett Hayes says, "Message redacted." And then Claudia Hawthorne says, P. Hawthorne says, "What do you mean you don't agree with getting a carry license?" It's this simple. The Second Amendment has, under no circumstance, a mention of regulation. And it is for a free people to have the ability to defend themselves against enemies, foreign and domestic, and shall not be infringed. That's simple. I don't think we need to have a license because a right is not regulated. Privileges are regulated. Owning firearms is a right because it is our right to self-defense. That's it. That's how I feel about it. And then Clyde Frog says, "Do you know what a good tree would be to do a DIY bow?" Actually, so yes, there are several good species out there for trees to make bows out of. One is actually known as bowwood, and that is the Osage orange or the bow d'arc. Hedge apple, I think, is another name for it. Some say that is the best bowwood in North America. There are others that will say ash is a very good wood for making bow. There are some that will say oak. There's like peach, fruit woods make good bows. And when it really comes down to it with me is it depends on the culture. And I don't necessarily feel any species of wood is per se superior to another because they're all adapted so individually per culture, and they have all their own little differences. It's like, let's say, the Irish with walking sticks. That's the best example I have right now. Some will say the best Irish is the blackthorn, but the Irish, they also like oak, they like ash, they like hazel, holly, rowan. They're all really, really good walking sticks. But it's like, why do you want a stick that's so heavy? Like, what is your climate? What is your territory? Like, do you have a lot of hilliness? So it's true to me, endlessly debatable on what is best. So, all right, I think I'm caught up on all thoughts and questions. I'm gonna get my tree. Someone called it tree branch relit. I'm going to get back to sanding this. But no, I do not believe in gun control under any circumstances for anyone, ever, period, under a free government. Because I don't think any government has the right to regulate self-control or self-defense. I shouldn't say self-control, but self-defense. This thing I think is lit about 75%, so we'll see how well this thing burns for the rest of my burn with this little guy. Make sure I don't go burn. this way. Because I can only go so far that way. Alright, so we're going to move this a little bit this way. Alright, Fernando says, you look like your dad, just older. Actually, I do not look like my father. I look like my grandfather. And actually, when I was just a wee one, like a little sprout, my great grandma used to say, as long as Bob is alive, or as long as Christian is alive, Bob will never be dead. That's my first name. You don't know my first name, but that's what she called me. And she'd say, she looked just like her grandpa Bob. Yeah, that's the way I look, just like my grandpa. And then Claudia says, what about people that say we need gun control because of school shootings? The whole school shooting thing, that's actually really a non sequitur. That is really ridiculous, because when I was a kid growing up, so I actually had this conversation earlier tonight. So when I was a kid growing up in Michigan, my dad kept his guns under his bed. Every neighbor on my street, every man kept their guns under their bed. When I was a kid, in high schools, all the pickup trucks and some of the little hillbilly cars had gun racks in the backs of their vehicles. And those gun racks, they had rifles, they had shotguns. You know what we did not have? School shootings. Why is that? I think it's a cultural problem. So to say that we need to start taking guns away from someone like me who has never committed a crime a day in my life, I need to be limited. I need to make it harder on me to own guns because of school shootings that are caused by whatever it might be. Why do I need to be limited? Because there is a mental health issue. That's my problem. Why were these not a thing when I was a kid? When I was a kid and I would go hunting with my dad in mid-Michigan, and we would go to like restaurants or bars. Like I would go out with him in the woods. We'd be out there trekking. My dad is not like a deer blind hunter. My dad is, when we were younger, he was a tracking hunter. He like actually stalked the deer. And that was a very useful thing I learned from my father. It's a very handy trait. And I still keep it to this day. And when we would go to like these restaurants or bars, because like these hunters would literally come out of the woods to these restaurants and bars that were at the edge of the woods. They'd take their guns, they'd set them against the wall at the entrance, and they'd go and get their food. They'd take their guns, and they would leave. It was never a problem. My dad would always say, hey, stay away from them guns. You come over here by me. That was it. And we knew just not to touch them. So what's going on in the world now that wasn't happening then, and why was it not a problem? We had fully automatic guns without the gun law that took all of our fucking gun rights away. It pisses me off. But anyway, I can't remember what it's called right now. But anyway, we could walk in and see a whole row, 10, 15, 20 guns sometimes. And then the whole bar full of hunters. Nobody grabbed a gun and started shooting each other. Why is it happening now? Okay, so. And then so Claudia says kids don't have respect these days. The gun control, thank you, Clyde Frog. Yes. So the interesting thing about kids don't have respect these days, I don't like putting it on the kids. I think it's really unfair because they're kids. Like we only know so much when we're that little. And to say it's the kids' fault, I think it's unfair. I think there is a problem with showing respect. Like I have learned in the past 10 years, there is a lack in reciprocity of manners. We'll say just being mannerly. When you say thank you, getting a you're welcome back, that's not that common anymore. When I was a kid, that just was what it was. And if you were a little kid and someone said thank you and you didn't say you're welcome as a little kid, the parent would stop you, correct you, and say, no, you say you're welcome. They would instill those values into those kids. And then DC Lynn says, kids need to be taught to respect. It's not on kids to intrinsically know. That's exactly my point. It's, I don't like blaming kids. Kids are kids. They're highly emotional. Parents at that time, they've been through the kid stage. They know they're emotional. And I wish we could stop blaming the kids. Yeah, kids are pissed off. It is what it is. Kids have been pissed off for the past 200,000 years. They're kids. They're emotional. all they know is emotion. I think that's the only thing they actually know concretely until they hit their mid 20s, even into like early 30s. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I do not have life figured out, not by any stretch. Um, I will be through hard times like anyone else that has hit their 40s. But let's not blame the kids. Let's start looking at what the parents are teaching their children. Let's start looking at like why have we started raising our kids to be afraid of things like guns? Because I mean, as far as I see it, here, while I'm right here, I got a big, mean, ugly, scary knife. I made this. This is scary. This will take heads off. But you know, no kid I bring into my yard is about to come and make something like this and then start doing that because I will not allow a kid. Hopefully, not get too arrogant. They will not come into my space and make something. They being like, how many people can I kill with this? When I have a kid make something like this, you know what I want them to think? How can I apply this in the woods? How can I use this to chop a trail? How can I use this to do like camp chores, like splitting wood, stuff like that? This is the stuff I want them to learn. But a part of me does feel video games are actually a part of that. Take that as you will. But I do feel video games have made us believe we can like respawn. And it started with the video game Doom, I think. Doom, by the way, is a really good game, so I know this is kind of like a, dichotomy. But at the same time, when Doom came out, that was still when we had like guns under the parents' bed, and we still didn't do crazy things. And what I want to know more than anything, what has gotten into a kid's head to where they get so mad they just want to go kill people they don't know or something they don't like? Why? Why is that a thing? Like, what happened? Is it because we got too soft on our kids? Like when I was a kid, parents would say, kids fight. We gotta let them fight. We gotta let them figure it out. They're very emotional. Nowadays, when kids get in fistfights in like elementary school, they might arrest them. That sucks. It really does. And that's why, like, the kids I have seen that have gotten involved in like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and like more like Taekwondo and stuff, it seems like those kids have learned the value of violence, and they understand reciprocity and kind, where they realize they can get humbled very quickly in their gym. And the kids that don't have these creative outlets through physical, we'll say athletics, I feel are being done a disservice by their parents. I feel all kids need to be involved in athletics of some kind. And I also feel kids need to be more involved in music. I'm a big fan of musical instruments with kids. I grew up, my dad played guitar. He taught me how to play growing up. And it was something that I was able to learn to connect to. And now I can connect with people I've never met a day in my life, but I see they have an instrument and we can immediately start talking about something we have in common. And I think we've lost a lot of commonality. That's kind of a zoomed out perspective. Like, I get that. But those are just, some of my thoughts on the unfortunate state of things with the youth of our world. Because I don't want to blame the kids. The kids don't deserve it. It's not their fault. Yeah, smoking a cigar with love this monkey. Alright, let's see. So the MacDaddy says absolutely video games are terrible. MacDaddy says it desensitizes them. I think there's actually a strong case to be made with that. I honestly do. And it's unfortunate to me. I almost feel the kids of today are not being given a fair chance for what that's worth. I think the kids are all right. I think kids are the same kids they've been for the past 200,000 years. And I think we just need to stop trying to make everything so easy for them. Like, when I was a kid and we lost, I played soccer most of my life. There were kids that get really, really brokenhearted that we lost. And some of the parents would pat these kids and be like, it's not your fault that you lost. And it's like, yes, it is. They were a better team than you. Like, they were literally better than you. And kids are not told that a lot these days, that, they were literally just better than you. And I played at a high level of, I played not Olympic development, I played Premier. This is the highest level I got in soccer. So when you get at that level, and if you're crying because you lost, your parents say it's not your fault, yeah, dude, like you played a team that's like literally training for the Olympics at this point. Yeah, your kids got to learn how to take a loss, man. It's okay. It's okay to lose. It's healthy to lose. It's beneficial. Honestly, that's how I feel. All right, so I'm gonna take a couple more hits off this stogie. Which, by the way, this Punch 2024, the way they wrap these, so this is the way it's cut. It's like a straight cut. I actually did not cut it that way. It came that way. The cap was a real flat wrap. It's the flattest wrap I've had for a cigar yet, but it actually is a pretty good stick. So it is the Punch 2024, I believe it's called. I previously wrote this brand off, but I'm a fan again. These guys have won me back. Mac Daddy says exactly, failing is more important than winning. I have got to say, the best lessons I've learned in life was through heartache. And my mantra in life is that heartache is a gift. And no one likes to have their heart broken. Nobody. I mean, Michael Jordan, he missed a shot that lost the Chicago Bulls, one of the greatest championships they could have ever had. He lost it. But you know what that guy did? Jordan did? He went and trained harder and harder and harder. And he had to contend with the 89-90 Detroit bad boys from the Detroit Pistons. And Jordan was like, these guys are beating us up. Why are they beating us so bad? And it came down to it where they were like, look, the Pistons, they're raw. These guys work out all day and all night. These guys are like special forces of the NBA. So what you guys have to do to beat them, you have to work harder. And working harder isn't always 1,000 jump shots a day like Kobe did. Sometimes working harder is you got to bulk up. Michael Jordan gained, I think it was 12 pounds of muscle in 1 year. And for a man as lean as him to gain that much muscle, that's impressive. He had to get stronger. He had to get more powerful, more, faster. And he did it. And you know what he did? He won the championship after that. It's just, you have to work hard in life. And we have to tell kids it's cool to work hard. It's fun. It's advantageous. And I think we're missing that. It's good to get blisters on your hands. It's good to get injuries. And I hope we return to that. Like, I grew up with a condition that made me very weak. It's a variation of a condition called Addison's disease. And there are people that actually believe my parents abused me because my parents allowed me to climb trees, to get hurt, to play sports. These are all things that can cause me to go into adrenal crisis. And all I can say is thank you to my parents. I mean, like, a lot of people with my condition from younger years did not have that tenacity in life. And I don't blame their parents. I don't, because it was their own way of doing it. But I feel it would have been a lot cooler if they allowed their kids to get like lumps, bruises, cuts, and scrapes. Honestly. All right, and then so Reese, hey Reese, how you doing? Oh, actually, Reese, how is my signal doing? By the way, earlier you said my signal was not good. I realized my internet was actually not on. I was going on my cell phone signal. So how is it actually going? I hope it's better. All right, and then Oliver Tyson says, intruder alert, red spy in the base. I don't even know what that means. Is that a video game reference? Because if it is, I don't know it. But I'm interested. All right, cigar. Let's get this. All right. I want to have like a good end with this because it was really a good stick. But how is the battle spoon going? It's actually going really good. I'm actually on the last commies. What a communist got to do with anything right now? Iris says, it's even worse to be honest. Oh my god, the video is out of sync with the audio. Dang, Larry, let me see if I thought I had the internet on. Oh, I don't have the internet. Hang on, let's see. Oh, all right. Okay. How is it now? Because I did connect to the internet. I thought I was on the internet. I wasn't. And then Buckfighter seemed right to say, I guess it does at the point they said what they said. Yeah, hey, fine. Why not? Okay, so that makes more sense now. So earlier when you were on, I'm guessing I was actually on my cell phone service and not my internet. And let's see. Yep, my internet is actually on. We are rocking in the free world. All right, that's cool. Okay, so that actually makes me happy because, like I said, my internet I thought was being really wacky, which it has been. But that's good to know that I was just not connected to the internet. But how is it going? It's actually going really good. I'm doing like the first like rough sanding now. Like we'll say it's like completed at this point, and I'm just like getting like all the rough spots down. And like I'm hitting it right now with like 60 grit, and I think tonight before I go to bed, I'm gonna hit it with a after I like sand the whole thing. I'm gonna hit it with some water so it can like make the fiber stand up, and then tomorrow when it's dry, I'll come back in and I'll hit it with like the finer grits. All right, and then Rick says, "Damn, that cigar seems." I know, dude. This thing is ridiculous. It is actually not a bad cigar though. This is a brand I previously wrote off until actually this cigar. It is okay. It's called a Punch 2024, and it's actually really good. To be completely honest, this is a really good smoke. It is so good that if I saw it again, which I've never seen this in the cigar lounge I go to before, I would probably grab another one. It was actually that good. And it's actually also falling apart at the seams. I don't know what happened. It started like early on, and like I got like chapstick is a really good way to like cure it if you don't have like the glue. And I just use like regular chapstick, but it did work. And yeah, so I think it's actually a 60 gauge. And my favorite cigar size is I think 50 gauge. What is that big machine in the corner? Okay, I'm gonna point here. That's not a machine. Are you talking about there? Actually, let's put this away. Okay, so you said yeah, but I will assume you mean over here. So that, hang on, let me see if I can show you. Okay, so this way you can see. That is actually a heat treat oven. It is 24 inches deep. It's called the Paragon Knife Maker's Kiln or something. It's 24 inches deep, and that is my heat treating kiln. And Ryan says, dancing is my passion. Hey, rock and roll. If you love to dance, man, dance your heart out. If these were the last beats in my life, I would dance to them. But yeah, no, that is a heat treat oven, and it's a lot of fun to use if I can figure it out. I have not fully figured it out. I can use it for like lower temperatures, but for what it comes down to it, with like knives and stuff, I do a lot of it by eye. But no, that is a heat treat oven, and it's a pretty cool tool to have when you know how to use it. I don't like the way they operate. I think their system is antiquated. You need a college degree to operate it, as far as I'm concerned. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Costs a lot of money though, so someday I gotta learn how to use it. No wait, it was, if these are the last beats of my heart, I would dance to them. DJ Headhunters. That's the line I was gonna. Here says, you ever had one of those induction heating things? No, I have not. My friend Derek Melton does though. Derek Melton does really cool, fun stuff. And it's cool, yeah. And Isaiah Edwards says, a girl smoking a cigar? OMG, yes. I love cigars. Girls love cigars, to be completely honest. A lot of girls like cigars. It's become more socially acceptable. I don't know, but no, girls like cigars, man. Sticks, love it. I like whiskey, I like cigars, I like gin, I like vodka. I like making stuff with my hands. I like making knives, you know. But to the dancing queen, look up DJ Headhunters. He is a very good DJ. He is out of the Netherlands, and he is my favorite DJ, probably of all time. He makes some really good music. Alright, and then Isaiah Edwards says, "Do you think you should have been born a man?" No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I'm masculine. I'm a tomboy, whatever you want to call me. But no, I don't think I should have been born a man. I don't really understand that mindset. There are people that will say that. If I was born today, people would have probably tried telling me that. But no, I mean, hey, I'm a girl. I'm just kind of a tomboy girl. It just is what it is. You know, like, I don't like frilly stuff. I'm not into debutante. I am a Christian. I do like to be mannerly. I swear a little bit. I drink whiskey. I smoke cigars. I make stuff with my hands. I don't date guys. It just is what it is. You know, c'est la vie. As the saying goes, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. And to think all women, all females need to be the same, that's kind of lame. And Ryan says, "A woman from Chicago, guys." That's how I feel about it. And then Reed says, "Do I date guys?" No, I do not. Nope, I am a gay woman. I actually will no longer call myself a lesbian because what people call themselves a lesbian today has become co-opted severely, and it makes me very sad. It's actually kind of sad the cigar fell apart, so that's actually pretty good. But no, really, when it comes down to it, yeah, I don't know. You know, guys ain't my bag. We all, you know, it takes all kinds to make the world go around, and I'm just one of those kinds. All right, and then someone over on TikTok says, Jackson says, "Is that gas or Tabasco?" Oh, it is tobacco. Gas or tobacco. I like gas better than za, because when I was a kid growing up, what we called za was actually, we didn't call it za, but pizza. That was like a kind of like, you said za if you're kind of like a swanky hipster kind of thing. But no, that's what I know za is. But no, it's just tobacco. It is a Punch 2024. It's a really good cigar too. I feel like I should put my gloves back on. God, this stuff is like crazy. I don't want to quit smoking. Alright, so Reese says, "What was the happiest time in your life?" That's a really cool question. And a really good one. I don't know if I could ever like pin down a single point or time. But I will say, growing up playing soccer, there was nothing in the world that mattered more to me than playing soccer. I loved it so much. It was the most amazing thing in the world. I lost the love of the game, unfortunately. I think I got it back though, and I miss playing a whole lot. But I think that was my greatest time, was being competitive, being able to compete. That was really just an amazing time. And I do miss it a whole lot. And then Sardine Breaths, your name is amazing. Sardine Breath says, "Who up forging they staff?" I'm actually just forming a staff by stock removal. I'm not forging anything right now. And then Ryan says, "A lot of people choose to be single. Peace is peaceful." You know, to those that choose to be single, hey, I get it. I totally do. When I met my sig pig that I've been with for 11 years now, I actually was happily single. She was as well, actually. And we've been together for 11 years ever since. And I guess it's that whole, like, when you're least expecting it, it will find you. It did find it, or it did find us, and I adore her. She's great, and she has been my sig pig. She's been with me through some very sad, hard times with my health issues. She's had to give me emergency injections when I was in adrenal crisis, which is not easy for really anybody to do. She's a medical professional, so it helps, but it's a scary thing when you have to give your significant other a life-saving injection, and then you have to deal with the emergency room that does not take them seriously, which is a very serious problem we have with adrenal insufficiency. And he says, I like snooker. I don't think it's really a thing in America. So we do have snooker. Um, but like snooker in America is played at like a very like elite level. When I was a kid, I used to have something called ESPN2, and ESPNX is what it turned into later. And they would have like extreme sports like rollerblading and all that stuff. But they also had like billiards of all forms, and snooker was the most common one that they played. So it does exist in America, but at like I said, like a very elite level. It's not as common as it is in like the UK. And Seto says, hello from Brazil. Hey, how's it going? I have a good friend. She lives in Belo Horizonte. And she actually paints murals around the world. She is, I grew up with her down in Taylor, Michigan. And then Rita says, she sounds like a keeper. She really is. She definitely is a keeper. I gotta say that. And then Tony DiCaprio says, my neck hurts. Why does your neck hurt? What did you do? Do you have a sore back? That could be what causes it. And he says, the Don of Snooker is Ronnie O'Sullivan. I've met him. So an Irishman. That's really cool. So in America we actually have a girl, her name is the Black Widow. I think she's Korean by heritage, but she is like thebomb.com when it comes to billiards. She's been in like movies and all kinds of stuff. The girl she's an absolute savage. And yeah, so like I don't have a lot of familiarity, but that's actually really cool. You get to meet like the Michael Jordan of billiards. That's cool. I want to get like a few more hits out of it. This thing is burning a whole lot of sorts. I feel like, oh my god, look at this cigar at this point. This thing is really damn ridiculous. Okay, Reese says he's English with Italian heritage. His last name's O'Sullivan. What is it? Is he adopted? Reese says he came to America and went to hustle all the pro pool players. There's actually a really good movie called Pool Hall Junkies. Really good movie. If you get a chance, since you seem like you actually like are a fan of pool, but Pool Hall Junkies, really cool movie. It's all about like the hustle of being like a pool shark. A good movie. Cool. One of my favorites, to be completely honest. This puppy is such a good cigar. I don't want to let it go, and I'm smoking. Like I said, like this thing is broken on so many levels, but it's a good stick. Like, and normally I'm like, okay, fine, throw it down, get over it. No, I'm really digging this one. And it actually hasn't gotten acrid at this point, which a lot of cigars do. And I figured at this point I would have oversmoked it. Somehow I actually have not. Yeah, Punch 2024, if you guys can find it, get it. This is a good stick. Nope, I lost another piece of sandpaper. Anyway. Dude, trash is a compliment at this point. Looks like it's been ran over. Oh my god, this thing is like been ran over, spun out on. This is cracking me up, to be completely honest. But to be completely honest, it's actually still a really good smoke at this point. That's what's cracking me up. But no, it's actually starting to burn my fingers, so unfortunately I gotta put it out. Some like to put them in like a cigar or tobacco pipe and smoke them. And I wish I had one. It's so good. I actually would do that if I had one. And I can't even say it's like so good, but it's like so legit. It's a very good stick. If you guys don't use your teeth as a tool, I apologize. I like to use my teeth. Alright. Actually, I just switch hands because it's starting to burn down on this side. Amazing when you have a cigar that's completely destroyed and it's still so legit. And it says, Reese, like a mini funeral. There we go. Yep. Alright, and then, Minnow says, this is absolutely smushed. This thing has seen better days, I agree. Alright, have you made any chairs? I have not. Actually, I gotta do a bathroom break. No, I've never made a chair. That is something I do want to do someday. I have a lot of respect for furniture makers. There is so much fine craftsmanship that goes into it. I do want to make some like furniture. No, okay. I have made benches for my dining room tables. I've made 3 benches for that, and then one for outside my back door. So okay, I made 4 benches. That's the furniture I made. This thing is like it's like smushed. It is not a nub. This is actually a Punch 2024. I'll show you the wrapper. I gotta have nub again. I didn't like him when I had him the first time, but I gotta try him again. This is what I'm smoking, and it's honestly this has been really good. All right, I'll be back. Reese, that's cool that like you said you're a furniture worker. I shall return. I'll be back. Bathroom break. See you guys in a bit. And I'm taking this with me. actually, I've got electrolytes in too. Okay. Electrolytes, man. Those taste so good in the middle of the night. Alright, so let's see. So, alright, so I'm back at my messages, and then the caller just said, what did I just say? I'm not sure. And then Minowin said, punch decent. I got a whole box of Fuentes, been slowly chiefing. Hey, no, I like Fuentes. Arturo Fuente. Legit. Yeah, actually, one of my favorite ones ever is the Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva. I actually just had one 2 days ago. It was, actually, it was not as good as I expected it to be. I've had a bunch of them. That one did not smoke that well. So, you know, I'm going to go. I just want to keep my cigars in the Tupperware. I don't do like the humidor. I like Tupperwares. Stack better. I'll get a humidor someday, but for now, it's Tupperwares. But, alright, so let's see. And then Alex Dean says, what kind of cherries? Okay. And then Reese says, are you not supposed to inhale cigars or something? I don't really know how it works. No, like, some people do. When I smoke cigarettes, I did used to inhale my cigars. And that's not usually advised. It can cause you to have, you could vomit. Because it can make you extremely nicotine sick, as some will call it. And a good way actually to get around that is like orange juice, gummy bears, like candy, that kind of thing. Where did my little knife go? Hang on 1 second. I gotta get back in sanding on this thing. Okay. You know what? Let's try this guy. I have not used this in a long time. This is some. Where's my Ulu? There's my Ulu. Let's try this. Does it still have an edge? No, I ground the edge off. Damn it. Alright, so we'll use my herb chopper. My herb chopper is my next go-to for my cigar cutting. So, alright, hang on. Let's see. He says it was a chair for a child. The back spindles were in shapes of a ruler, a pen, a pair of scissors. That's really cute. That's really cool. And then Minimum says, and it gets strong, man. Yes, it does. And Alex says, that's awesome. I mainly make Windsor chairs. Windsor backs are really cool. I got a lot of respect for Windsor back makers. I've never tried one. Very cool skill set to have, truthfully. I have a lot of respect for furniture makers in general. Windsor backs are really cool. Irene says, how do you get the wood to curve like that? By steaming it or something? Yeah, like, honestly, I'm with you on that. Like, that's legit stuff. And then he says you just make it in sections, or if you, I don't know if you're a man or woman, sorry. And then Alex says, yes, steam bending with a good form is primarily what I use to create different back crests. That's very interesting, because I myself have been curious as well. And then, so he says, you should check my relative's work. He was really good. He was called Robert Thompson. Okay, alright, that's interesting. And he says his workpieces are worth a fortune nowadays. And Alex says, I think I've seen his work before. His carvings are very intricate and beautiful. That's really cool. That's the kind of stuff I'm all about, like creating like a community, like I said. Just bringing people together. You know, it's, I don't know, maybe you guys could have met at another time. I don't know, but just to know that there are artisans in the chat just talking about crafts, like especially Windsor backs, man. That is some really legit skills, and this is actually how I cut some of my knives, I should say. And I actually do it with a wee little herb chopper I made. It's my favorite way to cut a cigar. Well, okay, second favorite. My favorite is actually to spit it. But no, that's really cool that you come from a lineage of furniture makers. It's not something you see too much these days. Like they carry the torch, I guess you could say. Okay, let's see. Now I will go into this cigar. This is a Ave Maria. Maria, in my experiences, have been ho-hum. This is Ave Maria Immaculata. We shall see actually how this guy does. And I think at the end of this cigar, I'll be turning in for the night. We'll see. I really want to get this stick sanded at least roughly and then get it wet. Oh, it didn't burn that well. I thought I toasted it better, but I didn't. This cannot. So this is actually completely unrelated. But I recently learned that in Australia, they call, so in America, we'll start there. In America, we have, we call it like the dump, if you want to call it that, if anything. And then in Australia, they call it the tip. And I guess like in Australia, they view it as like, even though like we all dump, but in Australia they go more literal, like the Scottish, because they're, the Scots are who made Australia what it is. They tip. In America, we dump. It's just how we roll. Okay, and then Reese says, I think I have the talent in my blood somehow. It just came naturally to me when I started doing woodwork. That is what I'm talking about with artisanship and craftsmanship, is I do firmly feel we can actually develop like skills, but I do feel that we are like inherently predispositioned as well to make things. And when people like of a skill set, of a lineage, like learn that, to me that is just absolute poetry. That's really cool. And then Reese says, yeah, we call it the tip here. Oh, you called the tip there too? No kidding. Okay. So I was reading on a woodworking group where they were talking about the tip, and I was like, what in the world is a tip? And the way they talked about things, I was like, you guys are on a completely different level of swearing than us. But you are. But like that one took the cake. But like, yeah, the tip, and we call it the dump. Alright, I'm gonna get this one right here. Alright. I've actually thought about making like a cigar conversation channel, because I really do, like, I love talking about cigars. Cigars and conversations. That was where I had my first premium cigar. It was in a place called Monroe, Michigan. And the guy that owned it was just an absolute cigar aficionado. It was really cool talking with them guys. And actually, I hope they're still doing well in life, because they're not in Michigan anymore. They went back to Ohio. Which says, amazing what people throw away. One man's rubbish is another man's gold. As they say, in America we say one man's trash is another man's treasure. If there's anything you can say in England, we have the equal and opposite. Like, you guys say like lads. In America we say boys. But again, that's like, the American disposition, because it's, well, we're in opposition to the crowd. And then, with that, back to sand. Oh god, let's actually annotate shit a little bit. Okay. Let's take this down a little bit. Alright, let's go there. And where's it? We'll call it good enough. Okay. Oh, I dropped me. Okay, so, and then he says, Twisted Diane says, what are you doing? I am making a battle spoon. I'm actually sanding one. If you want to see what a battle spoon looks like, I'll show you real quick. Here's a behemoth. This one's over 5 feet long. And this one right here is as well. This was the template for this one. This is made out of pine. This is made out of white oak. But, alright, let's break that apart. Let's break it down a little bit. Alright, let's get this in. Oh man. Alright, you know what? We'll call that pennies from heaven and then keep going with this. Actually, let's break this down. So I'm just trying to do like long passages. Alright. There we go. Back to sanding. Oh, and so funny story. So let me see where I'm at real quick. Oh, all right, hang on. Actually, because Reese, this actually comes to mind with you from the conversation from yesterday. All right, and then he said I was making a battle spoon, and then Reese says, "Did you make that stool that you're sat on?" No, I didn't. I actually did not make the. It's actually called a saddle. I think it's called. I didn't make it. I actually got it for $15 though. And then Twisted Dalian says, "Oh, you're starting a big pot with those." You would think, but no, it's actually for the Renfair people to do battling. And then Alex says, "You could say that." And then Twisted Dalian says, "Obey hungry enemies, hence the battle part." I like that. Like, oh, wait. Right, and then Reese says, "Big friendly giant." Twisted Dalian says, "Who?" Reese says, "You guys never heard of the big friendly giant, the BFG?" The BFG I thought was... Okay, so does the BFG actually have relevance in English folklore? That's actually something I've wondered about. And Alex has a great book. I've never read the book, but I did see the movie. And the movie actually was not bad. It was an interesting bit of folklore, if it is folklore at all. But no, it was a pretty cool story for what it was. It was quite the interesting story, to say the least. But all right, so as I was saying, so actually last night, Reese, you were talking about gun culture. We had a shooting in my neighborhood tonight, and I actually left my live to. Well, actually, so what happened was, I was live. I was doing the sanding, and as I'm sitting here sanding, I heard someone do a magazine dump. And that's not normal where I'm from. Yes, I'm in America, I get it. And it seems crazy, but no, we don't actually have stuff like that. It just we live in a very, think of us as like, I don't know, like Stoke-on-Trent, like, like we're impact tight. But no, tonight we actually did have a shooting in my neighborhood. And that was really pretty wild, to say the complete reality of things. It was wild. It turns out it was actually like a psycho stalking ex, is what I understand. But the girl got a hell of a felony tonight. I can say that. That girl's going to prison. She's gonna do some very serious time, which she should. And like, I am thoroughly, everyone deserves the right to own a gun, but you don't have the right to do that. And did anyone get hurt? No, no one got hurt. Thank God. But like I said, that girl, she lit off a fucking magazine. Like my gun that I carry on me, that's 7 rounds. It's 6 plus 1. The plus 1 is like 1 in the chamber. And her gun actually sounded like mine. Not like a super high powered like 9mm. It sounded more like a 32 ACP, which is what I carry. But no, like it actually did happen. I'll share a video tomorrow, or probably not tomorrow. I'll try, but it depends on how fast like YouTube will render the video. But no, like she lit the fucking street up, and I actually had to have a bathroom break a little while later, and I was like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom, yada yada. And like as I was like walking into the house to go to the bathroom, I saw like the red and blue lights, which in America means police, and I was like, something actually did happen, because like after I heard the gunshots, like I heard the police coming. They didn't have like the sirens on, but you can just hear the SUVs, because they drive SUVs where I live, and they were coming in hot. I mean, really hot. Like they were flying down the street, and I was just like, "Holy cow!" Okay, that's like 1 cop, 2 cop, 3 cop. Okay, all right, something literally happened. Gunshots were definitely fired. They were not firecrackers. And the weirdest thing about it was, what was I gonna do? It was, I could run into the house. Okay, sure. But it's like, do I run into the house, which means I have to run 100 yards between my workspace and my house, or do I just sit and wait where I'm at in my workspace, which is camouflage, so to speak? And I decided to just sit in my workspace. So in the next day or two, there will be a video up, hopefully. I don't really want to say hopefully, but you guys will hear gunshots on my video, which was pretty wild, to be completely honest. And even in Detroit, that shit still is not completely normal. In the wild streets of Detroit. Alright, and then Amy says, did anyone get hurt? And then Alex Bain says, glad you're safe. Gracie says, she emptied a full mag and didn't hit the guy. She must be crack shit. Cracks. She's definitely a crackhead. Crack shit. And David Cunham says, giddy up, let's go. Hey, that's the American way. That's what I'm saying. All day, man. It's crazy here, but it is what it is. It's just how we live. And then he says, I was watching a random YouTube live one day. Dude sat in his car in some sketchy neighborhood in America. Someone starts shooting right next to the car, and the guy gets arrested and stuff. Oh yeah, hey, it's the American way. We're crazy. And Alex says, have you heard of Sam Beaufort, Woodworking Institute? I have not heard of Sam Beaufort, but I am familiar with Adrian, Michigan. I have spent a lot of time there. My sister went to a university there called Siena Heights University. And I will look him up. I've never heard of him, but I will definitely look him up. And strangely enough, believe it or not, as podunk and country as Adrian is, they can have some fairly high crime. Oh, give my sandpaper back. There we go. So this, okay, there's no more gloves. The gloves have made sanding terribly difficult. Like, I do it because it mitigates like splinters and stuff, but it's actually proven to be a bit difficult. So I'm just gonna sand without gloves. Let's push this a little bit this way. There we go. And then Lifetime says, do you soak your cigar tips in tequila before smoking them? So the Arnold method, I have put that to the test a lot of times. It is interesting. It's worth trying at least once or 5 times. Do I do it? No, I'm actually not a tequila drinker under most circumstances. It made cigars, it made my cigars kind of like a, it kind of put them in the realms of like pipe tobacco. Was it the way Arnold Schwarzenegger said it was? No, not even close. Is it worth trying at least once? Yes. Is it worth trying 2 or 3 times? Yes. But that's only to just realize it's not as amazing as he says it is. Okay, hang on 1 second. Alright, and then... So Alex says, have you heard about that? And then Alex says, I went to school there, definitely recommended their classes. Oh, so you're from, or at least you're familiar with Michigan. It's cool. Like I said, my sister went to Siena Heights. I have a really weird ghost story someday I will tell about Siena Heights. And I mean, it was really bizarre because my cousin was with me and she saw the same thing I saw. And yeah, that is a memory I still do not forget. And I actually just saw her last summer because she lives in the South. And she asked me if I remembered it, and we both remembered it like exactly the same way. Completely bizarre, interesting experience at Siena Heights University in Adrian. Actually, I haven't even checked this in a while. It actually feels okay. Not great, but it feels okay. so hard to get it on that angle. And then David Kenham says, what are we making? A battle spoon. I'll show you. This is a battle spoon. This one's made from pine. It's a little over 5 feet tall. Oh, there you go. You see the full end of it. This was actually the template for this one. This one's made out of white oak. And right now, I'm actually working on like the staff portion of it. Yeah, holy spoon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they call them battle spoons. It's a really cool thing with the Renaissance Fair people, the Rennies. It's really cool, to say the very least. It's been a lot of fun to make it, and I learned a lot. Let me tell you, because like I'm not a woodworker by any stretch, and when I said I could make it, I didn't know what I was doing. But I gotta say, I'm actually pretty proud of the progress I've made. I'm actually a knife maker, and oh, that is not too bad. I gotta get this wet before I go to bed, though. I know that. Actually, this cigar is actually not bad. It's an, like I said, it's an Ave Maria Immaculata. Legit, it's a good stick. I'm gonna turn it off. What's going on at this point? Here we go end now. Where should I go live next? Let's go with Instagram, why not? Hey, we're gonna get some fun people up at Instagram late hours. Okay, hang on 1 second. And sanding. Let's do it. Let's go live. Okay, alright, so. Alright, and then David Kenham says, very nice, yes, I agree. Then he says, do you ever get any other Brits in your streams, or am I the only one? I have had some, not many, but I have had a couple. I had an Irishman 2 days ago. I know it's not the UK, but no, that's the closest I've had, like, as like the most recent. But yeah, no, every now and again I do get you guys. I did, and he tried telling me all sorts of crazy stuff that was actually not true. And then he was actually also, he said he was a carpenter, and he seemed like he did have kind of an idea of what was going on in the world with like hand sewing. And he was like telling me like cut from this way, then cut from this way, and it was reasonable advice. It wasn't that. And then Alex says, "What are you using to protect the wood in a metal vise?" Actually, literally, an old shop towel. That's it. That's all I have right now. I don't actually have the rubber coating. And then he says, "I think it's a cloth or something, Alex." Ireland is. In what world do you live in, Reese, that the Irish nation is part of the UK? Maybe Northern Ireland, but Ireland is part of the UK? Surely you jest, good sir. The Irish around the world just collectively sighed at you. They probably want to fight you over that one. David Canham says, what's it like being on TV? That's actually a really good question. So what I can say is what it's like being on TV. The first thing is reality TV shows are now not the same to me because I can see, yeah, Irish be throwing the potatoes at you. Yes, they are. They are throwing big sucking potatoes at you. Don't ever. Well, hey, I remember when a interviewer tried calling Cillian Murphy UK or English or something, and I remember what's his name? I get Tom. He played fucking Bane. He's just like, no, he's not. No, but anyways, what's it like being on TV? It's actually, so now it's made reality TV like a very different watch. It's made it where I can like see now where like they push or contrive like themes and stuff like that, because like they tried doing the same thing to us, but knife makers apparently are very honest and we like each other and we're not out for blood necessarily. So there's that. And then when I was on Forged in Fire, like at any point in time during the competition aspect, there was I believe 40 people on set, and that was actually really far out to be completely honest. And like the judges on the show for Forged in Fire, they're there the whole time. They're like a good 10 yards away. But there's, like I said, like 40 set people all around the place, and you have this guy who is an OSHA guy. So like, give me my mask without throwing my scheme. So I did not wear anything like this on set. I just wore like a normal like N95. Well, the OSHA guy had one of these on the entire time, and he was like in your business, like the nosy neighbor you never wanted. And he was just like the whole time, like following you around on set. And I actually got a chance to meet my camera guy specifically. His name was Ricky. He's a cool guy. And I, since I was the only person on set that knew who my camera guy was, I was talking to Ricky the whole time. And the one thing to remember when you're on like a Hollywood set is the camera or the microphone is on all the time. And I mean all the time. I mean bathroom breaks. I mean no breaks. I mean you are going to the pantry to get wood stuff to make knives, whatever it might be, all the time. So I started having fun with it, and I started like making the camera guy like do squats with me, but I wasn't telling him I was doing squats. I'd be like, all right, Ricky, we got to go back down. We got to get, like the triple dyed burl. And then he'd come down. I'd be like, all right, Ricky, we're going back up. And I'd have him do up the squat. He's got like a 50-pound camera on his shoulder doing this the whole time. And he actually told me afterwards he got a kick out of me. So, I mean, that was actually really cool and really fun, to be completely honest. Funk Congress says, hey, I just saw your stream for the first time the other day. I thought your sticks delays were cool. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I remember you talking about there. And what's on the best today? Actually, this is what I was working on, I think the day you were here. This is a oak battle spoon. I'll show you what it's made off of. It's made off of this right here, that pine one. Just a little over 5 feet. There we go. There's a big one. I'll tell a story about the big one someday. The big one is a funny story. It's a folklore in my family now, but anyway. So, back to sanding. And actually, at this point, like the sanding and then I'm doing, it's just kind of like breaking off, like, kind of like the rough edges from like the planing I was doing. We'll call that good. But it's just like breaking off like the rough edges, just kind of like getting it into like that final form. And then before I go to bed, I'm actually going to hit it with some water. And that'll sand up all the fibers. And then I'll be able to hit it again, and that'll actually take care of it and make it like a lot smoother. Again. And then he says, you could row a boat with those spoons. Yes, you could if you're determined enough. Bigway says, that's a big bump spoon. I like that. That's funny. And then Fucker says, do you use brass inserts on the tip? No, I don't use brass. This is actually the first one I may well say truly. No, I don't use brass. I don't use any kind of like metal loading or anything like that. Because truthfully, I don't make weapons. I make things. And in my opinion, the only weapon is actually between your ears. Because as far as I see it, this is just a plank of oak. And a plank of oak is not a weapon until you weaponize it. And then David Cano says the Jolly Green Giant Spoon. Yeah, definitely. And the Congress says it has a name, but I can't remember it. Battle Spoon. It is a battle spoon. Alright. I gotta say, that's a pretty good stick, by the way. For those that are curious, actually, what am I smoking? This is Ave Maria Immaculata. I have the other stick or wrapper somewhere. Anyway, Ave Maria Immaculata. Good stick. Good stogie. Alright, so, and then we have, Funker says, I mean the name of the brass tip. Oh, I don't know what that's called. The Young Irishman has a channel. It was just something. Are you talking about Declan Casey, by chance? And Monk Fam says, hello, you. Hi. Yeah, there's Declan. The two I follow is Declan Casey and Francis McCaffrey from McCaffrey Crafts. Yeah, and Monk Farm says Merry Christmas. Hey, likewise, right back at you. Happy belated Merry Christmas. The biggest downside though of wearing gloves, and it actually is a big downside, is you can't feel the fine tuning that you need. Do a quick check. God, that looks damn good. I'm really happy with where this is at right now. Yep. Alright. Is it perfect? Nah. Do I make perfect things? Nah. Alright, so let's put this in here. Actually, we'll start this way at the top. Alright. Alright, so Funkar says, don't know the other fella. Would you share the name again? Declan Casey and Francis McCaffrey. And McCaffrey owns McCaffrey Crafts. And he's out of Killorglin, Ireland, if I recall. In what time zone am I in? Eastern. So it is 1:05 a.m., I believe, if I'm reading my clock correctly. Ah. And then Reese says, 6 a.m. here, haven't slept. Reese, party animal. Fuck, Congress says, just got off set myself. 19-hour shooting in Philadelphia. Yeah, hey, I mean, you guys, like, I gotta say that was one of the things I learned when I was on Forge Le Femme, was a few of my bladesmith friends that were on there before me, they said, be ready for like 15-hour days. And I thought they were kind of joking. Nope. Hollywood runs really long days. Says Funkar says long days. User says with the grain. And then Risa says $15 is a bargain for that. Funkar says third day of a 9-day shoot. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what it sounds like with like typical Hollywood. You guys definitely put in the hours. There's no doubt about that. There is. If anyone ever says they don't work hard in Hollywood, they don't know what they are talking about. But I'm actually curious to watch that movie when it comes out. When did you say that movie's coming out again? Anyway, you said like, was it like fall of this year? I'll definitely watch it. I mean, like, I love watching B flicks or low budget. I actually have become not a fan of big budget. I don't know. I don't like epic movies anymore. See, so yeah, no, I get it. Like, do you have like a meddlesome title by chance? Like, last time I was telling you about how I walked across the set of Captain America: Winter Soldier. They called it they called it something else, but the humor in like their meddlesome title was it actually did still pertain to Captain America. And my friend who was like, he's like a super Marvel comic like aficionado. He actually thought Winter Soldier was like a really lame name, but he thought the meddlesome title was like even worse. He thought they could have done better. For what that's worth. We're nobodies. It's just we're nobodies in the world, you know. Oh, there goes that. All right, let's get another piece. All right, come on. Oh my god, my vice took my sandpaper. I'll do that. This is actually like one of my first times like really working with oak at such like an extensive length, and I've learned a lot working with it. This is one temperamental species of wood. Let me try it out. Down a little bit. Yeah, do that. And then Racy says, I think my favorite movie is Contact with Jodie Foster. I just like the concept. I know I've seen it, it's just been definitely a long time. And then Funk Congress says, Contact is a fun fantasy. I liked it when it came out. A lot of people seemed to hate it. And he says, anyway, my working title is Ships. Okay, alright. Reese says, yeah, I think it's pretty underrated, but it's the most realistic alien movie I've seen. Since if we're to find them, it would possibly happen like that. What a radio signal. So one of the movies I've seen that I guess we could put in that realm is actually the movie Sphere with Queen Latifah. I don't remember who else was in it. But, like, if you guys have not seen it, worth watching. But I thought it was a really cool concept. And, like, so we always view, like, aliens as, like Earth and above. And, like, I love the take on Sphere was, like, it was, like, Earth and below. Like, you know, like, in the water. And I thought that was just, what a really cool concept of a movie. And I'm actually not, like, a sci-fi, like, thriller horror fan under most circumstances. Sometimes I like it, but that was actually one that it truly impressed me. Reese, if you've not seen Sphere, watch it. It's really good. It's a cool movie. Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. And then Tristan Tuwadi says, "Hi, you subbed. Hey, what's up, dude? Welcome on board. I definitely appreciate it for sure. But yeah, if you don't like Whites, hey, jump in the movie chat. And like I was saying about the movie Sphere, it really a good movie. And the most interesting thing about the movie Sphere is they never actually figure out what it is, which was what made it so cool to me. Is they were able to make a really quite good movie over a being, a creation, a something that they actually could not really put like a finger on it. They couldn't like really figure it out. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, like I remember, like her character in that movie was really good. She did a good job in that. Yeah. You know what? We'll call that good. That piece is done. I've actually considered getting into Hollywood because my family actually dates all the way back to vaudeville in Hollywood, or vaudeville, then Hollywood, whatever way you want to put it. But actually, my great grandmother was a friend of Thomas Edison, and she's actually in the Library of Congress. And there's a film called The Boxing Dog, I think it's called, and it was with a boxer, and it was she was able to teach a dog how to box, yada yada. But anyway, no, she is in the Library of Congress. Her name is Laura Comstock, and she was a vaudeville actress, and she was a part of the origins of Hollywood in New Jersey. And she was my first relative to come over from Ireland, in fact. Alright, let's see. Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Alright, and then Reese says, I like that movie, Empire of the Sun. It's a lesser known Spielberg movie. I've never seen it. I'll look it up though. Tristan says, my last name is pronounced Tristan Tay. I don't know if I said that right. And then Funk Conger says, did you work on that picture? I worked on Bridge of Spies. It was Steven. Spielberg movie. He says, you can make movie props for Hollywood. Actually, I've wondered about that. My sister and her beau, they are filmmakers actually in LA, in Hollywood. And you'll actually be seeing some things they made in the next, I believe this year. I'm not going to say what it is that they worked on, but it is some pretty cool stuff, to say the very least. And one of them is a pretty well-known actor, actually. I'm pretty excited, and they're doing a documentary on a really well-known musician. I will not say who, but it's pretty cool what they got to do and who they got to meet and to get this whole documentary together. And Reese says, oh, really? That's cool. I love all his movies. And Funkar says, yeah, great props. And then Frank Effa says, what you building? All right, hang on, I'll show you. It's actually a pretty good cigar, by the way. The Ave Maria Immaculata. Good stick. So what I'm building is a battle spoon. This is a battle spoon. This one's just a little over 5... almost fell over. A little over 5 feet long. Thank God that my locker was there. But it's a little over 5 feet long. And it is this thing that the people at the Ren Fair are really into, where they, like, I guess it started as they were not able to have swords and whatnot. Actually, I'll do this. Not a hard clamp for this. And they started doing this thing called battle spoons because it was like a fun thing to have. And they started turning them into like staffs and whatnot, and all together turned into like a kind of like a pretty cool, like not like folklore, but I guess folkloric in its own right. Congress is having fun for the host. Hey, I appreciate that for sure. I appreciate you guys actually hanging out. You guys actually make the mundane part of building things much more enjoyable. And like talking about like Hollywood and all that, it's super cool to me. I love Hollywood. I love theater. I love acting. I am sad I never got into it when I was younger. I still debate getting into it now. I truly just, I love theater. I love entertaining people. And hey, you never know. The sky's the limit, right? got a weird little spot right there. That's actually going to take some. Oh, that might actually take some extra attention tomorrow. Let's see. Let's see what this guy can. So, hang on one second. Let's tilt this up. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Still trying to figure out how to use this new apparatus that I have. Okay, and then, let's see, the one. Alright, do you like dark humor? This Drake says, do you like dark humor? Yeah, oh, I love dark humor. If there was not dark humor, we would have no humor at all. Funk Congress says, it's cool to learn your process. I got into it at 40. Yeah, that's really cool, to be completely honest. We have such an underappreciation, I feel, for the arts in that regard. And it's so exciting to me. And then Reese says, yeah, it's chill here. I like it. Glad I came across your channel. Much appreciated, truly. I really do appreciate it. You guys have made this a lot of fun. And Aiden Galloway, I grew up with some Galloways. That's pretty cool. They're out of Southeast Michigan. And you have that actor energy about you. Well, hey, I appreciate that. I do really consider it someday. It's so much fun to, I don't know, to just like take on a character and bring something to life. It's just what an incredible thing. And then Funk Congress says, it's her eyes. She has that special something. Those Betty Davis eyes. That's actually I had a regular customer who always said I had those Betty Davis eyes. And he'd just go, girl, your eyes, man, your eyes. There's just something about them. But he said, all right, and then it's definitely more difficult starting at 40, but definitely can be done. And then, well, if I say this wrong, I'm sorry. Far Point Station. Forge, how long have you been forging? Technically, about 7 years. Yeah, about 7 years. When I went on Forged in Fire, about 5 minutes. To be completely honest, not even kidding. I got on there with a knife I forged one time. Yeah, but anyway, no, I actually love forging. I love blacksmithing more than knife making, to be completely honest. I love blacksmithing. And Dizzy Dragon, did you see my joke? I don't know if I did. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I don't know, maybe you're making fun of me, maybe you weren't, I don't know. But if you were making fun of me, I guess I didn't get the joke. But, let's see, Reese says, better try, get some sleep. Hope to catch another live stream. Yeah, hey, over in the UK, it's y'all are way far ahead of us. So, hey, great chatting with you again. Thank you for coming into my live. I truly appreciate it. You guys are what make making things by handmade worth it. It makes it so much fun. And talking with you guys about life, liberty, and, well, liberty is subjective, I guess, but handmade crafts, it's really cool. I love having this community that I'm building slowly, and I hope to keep building it. And I would love to see this just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So thanks for joining me all this time. It's been really great. And then Funkar says I had an encounter at Farpoint. And power spoon. It is a power spoon. Earlier someone said, what about a battle spork? And the funny thing about it was I was just like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of doing like a battle spork. And it's just like, that's actually a really viable, like whimsical, silly, fun thing to have. And then Farpoint Station says, Funk, if you ever come by again, ask for me. Grappler Zorn. Zorn. Why does the name Zorn sound? Oh, we got Zorns in Michigan. That's what it is. Alright, so Funkar says, I'm digging it. Battle Spork. I mean, how silly fun is that? And then Dizzy Dragon says, is my joke not showing? I've sent it 2 times. It might not be. I'm not sure. Send it again. And let's see what happens. Yep, you got a little bit right there to sand down. Not much, but a bit. Okay, and then Trekkies being Trekkies about Farpoint. I'll just leave that to you guys because I don't know much about Star Trek, but hey, you guys found each other here. That's cool. I actually, so back in the early 90s, or late 90s, sorry, my neighbor had a friend, and she went to Catholic school for part of her education, and her friend could actually speak Trekkie. I always thought that was really cool. I thought it was like super weird when I was a kid, but like it was really honestly very cool. And then, I don't know how to say her name, says hello. And Lennon Carson says, how's that cigar treating you? Good. This is actually a pretty good stick. It's a brand I'm not typically a fan of. It's Ave Maria, but it's their Immaculata. Legit stick. Worth trying at least once. And then Dizzy Jerry says, I don't think it's sending. And then Funkar says, cool. You know, I'm sorry it's not sending. I apologize. I guess I'm apologizing for what I didn't do. I shouldn't do that. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing a joke. All I got was, do you like dark humor? And it didn't really come up after that, so I don't. YouTube could be censoring it, so it must be. Maybe it's particularly egregious. I don't know. If it's political, that's it's welcome, but some of those are a little contentious these days. All right, let's see where I'm at. This is actually feeling pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. All right, let's see where I'm at on this. You know, for what it's worth, let's get it wet. All right, let's have some water. My goodness, my goodness. God, that water tastes way better than it should. That's how you know you need water. All right, let me get my blue shop towel. All right, come on. No, come on. You can do it. All right, so I'm a big fan of blue shop towels like this, but I gotta say, when these things get to like the bitter ends, they get like, they start to like stick to each other. And yeah, those were just sticking to each other. All right, so, okay, that's right. All right, so, where do I have any fresh water that is not tainted with electrolytes? Nope. Let's see what we got. All right, we'll just use my quench bucket. Water is water, right? Not really, but hey, let's do it. So actually, what I'm doing right now, so you guys, if you're not familiar, I've got my blue shop towel wet now, and what I'm gonna do, because I did like a really rough sanding on it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take it to the staff, and what this does is it brings a lot of these fibers alive, and then tomorrow, when I work on this, it'll bring all these fibers, or by the time I come out here, I should say, all of these fibers will be standing on end, and they will be much easier to sand down, and it will make it, truthfully, in the end, a much nicer piece. And it's a way of taking things to like, you know, like 220, 300 grit, not like really high grit. And I don't usually sand wood above 220 grit, truthfully. I don't know, I don't like it. And but this, tomorrow, we shall see. I can already feel the fiber standing up. And there goes my file. And, okay, this thing's like 5 feet long. I should be more conscientious. But anyway, no, so I'm going to do this. And I can, like I said, I can already feel like the fiber standing up. And it will, like, I wish I had it. Actually, I don't know. Let's see. It's really hard to see. You can kind of see, like, right here. They're starting to kind of stand up. You can definitely feel it, though. I will say that. But this is going to sit over here overnight. And I'm get a little bit of water in there. Alright, actually, let's get the whole thing. Let's get the whole thing wet, because I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of sanding tomorrow anyway. So let's just get this whole thing done. And I might have to do it again, because I'm kind of being a little, to be completely honest, I'm being a bit voyeuristic with this and just being silly. But, yeah, so let's just get these fibers wet. And then tomorrow when I come back out, they'll be ready to be sanded. And it'll be really great. What will come of it? Alright. This is just plain old water. That's it. Alright. And that will sit there overnight. And actually, here's what white oak looks like when you get a little bit of water on it. Just to give you an idea what it could look like with stain. But this will actually, or with varnish, but this will be stained a very dark walnut-ish. Actually, the stain I'm using is actually called potato skin. Oh, okay. So, I just got sawdust everywhere. This shop is a mess. I cleaned it up last night. I was having a lot of fun, and then here I am making it a mess again. Alright, and then Disney says, I took a girl from Jerusalem out for a date last night. Asked if I could get her number, and she told me we would We don't go by numbers anymore. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. I have friends in Israel. I guess I could ask them what that means because I actually don't get it. But I can say this: when I played Cards Against Humanity, and some things came up about Palestine versus Israel, and I took pictures of the cards I got and sent it to my friends in Israel, they actually got a kick out of it. So they might get a kick out of this too. Actually, I'm gonna screenshot it. Hang on. So it's a World War II joke. All I can say is these guys have some dark humor, and sorry. So I took a girl from Jerusalem out for a date last night. Asked if I could get her number, and she told me we don't go by numbers anymore. All right, okay. Is that like the numbers? Is that what you mean? I'm trying to figure it out. So like I have like a little bit of like base layer. Okay. There it is. Okay, I got you. Actually, I appreciate dark humor. I actually have quite a bit of family that was killed in the Holocaust, but they were not Jewish. They were actually Polish Catholics, and I don't take offense to it. I'm actually here in America because of World War II, and hey, man, we don't get to write our history. History is dark for everybody. Nobody gets to have a beautiful history. Not a single person, no matter who wants to say it. Nothing. And my family fills... I know in Auschwitz alone, my family fills 2 pages of their books of people that were put to death. And they were not put to death for being Jewish. They were put to death for being Catholic. And I had family that were in Armia Krajowa, which is the Polish Home Defense Army. It was a 100% volunteer military force. And I am very proud of it. I actually have Armia Krajowa patches on my battle jacket, as the punks call it. And hey, it is what it is. But honestly, that joke ain't bad. It's actually, it's not the funniest one I've ever heard, but it's warm. That ain't bad, man. If there wasn't, it's, like I have Irish heritage, and a lot of people know that Irish came here during the Irish potato famine, and like someone earlier said, they'll be having potatoes thrown at you. Yeah, it's true. It's sad. It's dark, but fucking Christ, man, when was history not sad and dark? All right, and then ATT says the real kind. I don't know what that means, but hey, sure. And this Dragon says it's meant to me Jewish, but I had it to Jerusalem for it to send. I don't know what that means, but I will ask some of my Israeli friends. Well, I actually only have 1.5 Israeli friends, I should say. I shouldn't say I have a ton. But no, one of them used to live in Detroit, and he has since moved to Tel Aviv. But he moved there like, oh god, almost 20 years ago. And then I also have a friend in Lebanon, because I'm actually, so my actual like trade, I have 2 trades. I have 3 trades. I'm a welder first. That was my first trade. And then my second trade was massage therapy. And then after that became metallurgy and bladesmithing and blacksmithing. But when I was in massage school, I was actually in massage school with a Muay Thai crew from Lebanon, a world champion Muay Thai fighter. Like, who the hell meets a Muay Thai fighter in massage? I did. He's actually still a very good friend of mine, and he's like super pro America. He has Muay Thai on his hands, on his knuckles, and then like on his arm and on his head he has Muay Thai here, and he has We the People, and then with like an American flag and an eagle. It's completely wild. He lives in Beirut. He's a very good friend of mine, though. His name's Hassan. He's a badass. Well, he's a Muay Thai master now. He was a Muay Thai crew when we were in massage school. But, yeah, a Muay Thai master is also a very good massage therapist in Beirut, Lebanon. Okay, let's see. And then Mr. Dragon says, I'm Scottish, but I'm descended from the old Irish royal family. So, Dizzy Dragon, interesting thing is I'm also of Scottish heritage. And my family, we're Clan Graham. And so interesting enough with genetics is clan Graham haplotype actually descends all the way from Saudi Arabia, Israel border, but more in the Israeli, the southern side. I believe it's southern, western. Anyway, so my sister had one of them DNA tests done, and she tested out with the right percentage for Ashkenazi Jew for where the Grahams descended in all those generations, which was a really fun thing to learn about, just world history. And then David Kenham says, why do so many orphans get famous? It's go big or go home. That's got to be it, to be completely honest, because there is truth behind that. And then Dave's Dragon says, and they can't go home. And then Oak Ridge Taxidermist says, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Oak Ridge. So, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, I'm guessing is where you're from, like where the Oak Ridge boys are from. Fantastic country musicians. Those guys are good. But I have a funny story about Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Hang on. So, I have friends that are in La Follette, Tennessee, which you may or may not be familiar with. But it's right around Oak Ridge. So, I would hope you are. But anyway, so, down in the Bible Belt, the way they roll down there. So, my friend, I think it's his great aunt and great uncle, they are buried in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, both of them, husband and wife, and they are buried on opposite ends of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, because they could not even stand each other in death, to the point they're literally buried at opposite ends of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And I thought they were joking. Nope, 100% true. They could not stand each other that much. Alright, so let's get some of these clothes put away, get my respirator put away. That's what I try to do at the end of the night. I try to clean up and all that, so you guys are going to hang out while I clean up. Let's see. Get the rasp away. There we go. Actually, I kind of want to put this I'm not going to put the sandpaper away. Why would I? And then these got to go away. Oh, Cindy, if you're still there on Instagram, what's up, girl? Been a minute since I talked to you. Yeah, I've been live on Instagram this whole time as well. I kind of forgot because you guys are cracking me up so much. I didn't even pay attention to it. But Cindy is actually one of my dear friends from yesteryear. Alright. This dustpan, I love this thing. It's a dustpan broom combo. But if there is a way to step on it, fall on it, trip on it, that thing finds a way. I don't know why, but it does. Okay. It's amazing how just putting things away little by little just starts making everything just kind of feel at ease. At least that's how it feels for me. And I actually always put my matches away at night because we get so much humidity because I'm right off the Detroit River that I can come out here sometimes and this box of matches would actually be soaking wet even with closed doors. It gets that humid here. This cigar is really good tonight, by the way. Like I said, it's a Ave Maria Immaculata. Good stick. And this is Liquid IV White Peach. Good. Tasty electrolytes. I need to get me one of them 6-gallon vacuums for this workspace. Oh my gosh, everything is just like covered in like a dusting. And I just cleaned everything up. That's so funny. It's just amazing like how quickly the sawdust will just cover everything. Like I said, like I said, it is the, oh, there we go, Immaculata. This is a good stick. It is worth trying at least once if you guys are cigar smokers. Alright. Actually, let's do this. Alright, all my little knives. I love making little knives that are just completely minimalist. When I say completely minimalist, I literally mean it. Like no handles, just steel. That's it. I love it. Close that. God, who knows? Maybe tomorrow I'll even have like my solid fuel Forge heat treated. That would be exciting. That's really what I want to have. Like, I want my stick to be done, like my battle spoon. But after that, I want to have my Forge heat treated and ready to go. I miss forging so much. And then Mustang guy says, hi, hey, how you doing? She's the female Bubba. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. Because I do like a good Mustang, especially like a good old Fox body. Actually, my one of my good friends, he has a 89.5 25th anniversary Mustang. And his is actually honestly really sick. It has a big old whale tail on it. You just don't see many like his. His is boss hog. Oh, it's down here. It is amazing how much dust you can get from things. Sawdust, it just, like, I clean this bench off tonight. I come back tomorrow. This thing will be, actually, I'll just sweep this off the floor. This will be filled with dust tomorrow again. And it'll just be like that dust that just continues to settle. Okay, I'm actually not too, it's kind of cool, but I got some oak scraps and whatnot I gotta deal with, but it is what it is. I got a little bit more of my cigar left to finish, so I'm gonna just enjoy this stick. Actually, I've had 2 good sticks in a row tonight. That's cool because you don't always get that because I don't know, like, just because it's like a premium cigar doesn't always mean it's like good. But tonight, no, this one's actually pretty legit. Actually, who's still hanging around right now? I need to have an air vent in here for nights like this. It is so smoky, it just smells like cigars. It's like a cigar shop right now. We got 4 people that are hanging out. Where are you guys coming from? I'm Rachel. I'm out of Detroit. I'm just hanging out. I'm actually doing some cleanup. Tonight I've been working on a battle spoon. This is one I made out of pine. The one I made out of oak. Oh, that one's hanging out over here. I'll show you. Here's the oak one I made. I'm letting it dry out right now. And because I'm going to do some sanding on it tomorrow. But I hit it with some water because the water will make all the fibers stand up and it'll make it a much nicer finish in the end. And yeah, here we go. This is my battle spoon. These are actually really fun to make, believe it or not. Like, it's a lot of work, but I've been having a ton of fun. I think mainly because I've been working with tools I'm not familiar with, and I'm like learning how to use them as I go. Some will say you like need to like read books and stuff, but in my opinion, your best experience is experience in itself. It is almost 2 a.m. Oh my goodness. Put you right back now. I don't know about you guys. I'm actually not a fan of the peach flavor, but I do like white peach. So like if I get a chance to like get something that's like white peach flavored, I get it. These are like white peach electrolytes. Oh, they're so tasty tonight. I think it's actually Liquid IV is the brand. Yep, this W is just about out. Okay. I am covered in dust from head to toe. My hat, my sweatshirt, as you guys can see, I got it like all over me. And yeah, I guess it is what it is. And Fairpoint says, are you a snoo practitioner? I do not know what snoo is, so I guess not. I've only come across that name actually one other time, and it was on Instagram. That's the only other time I've ever really heard that before. I gotta watch this tomorrow. What is a snoo practitioner? That's a good stick. I'm impressed. And this is another brand I thought I was going to write off, but no, this is actually one of the ones I like. So, Ave Maria Immaculata, going into the books. That's a good one. I might even have to start like keeping a journal. It was actually that good. I had two tonight that were back to back really good. Even the one that like I had previous to this like completely fell apart. It was still a really good stick. Alright, so that. I don't wanna. How do you just like not share that? Okay, so there's one. Alright, let's turn this phone off. Actually, let's see insights. I don't know what that means, but thank you, TikTok. There we go. I got some followers. That's pretty cool. I think that's what it is. Okay, and then smartphone turn off. Alright, so, oh god, my phone was like being near dead tonight, holy cow. So, I'm going to end this live right now. This is way past my normal time, but there were some events tonight that happened that put it off. But either way, I will be back again maybe tomorrow. We'll see. If I am, I'll put a video up or something. But anyway, cheers, adios, Nostrovia, slancha, good night.